Hey everybody, welcome back to the Huddle, the Alliance Review's online high school football show. I'm Rob Toder, Executive Editor of the Review, joined as always by Mike Brown, our sports editor. And today we're going to talk about games coming up in Week 3. And Mike, we've seen some trends develop already just through the first 2 weeks of the season. One of them, DeMonte Thomas of Marlington, is everything he's advertised to be. And number 2, St. Thomas has a pretty good defense. And we're going to find out Friday night just how good both of those elements are.
Absolutely. This is going to be one of the best early season matchups of the entire year. You've got that great St. Tom defense has given up 6 points in 2 games going against DeMonte Thomas, who's one of the most explosive players offensively and defensively in Northeastern Ohio. So great matchup.
Yeah. I think obviously Marlington wants to run the football. They're both very similar teams. They both want to run the football, control the game with their offensive line and their running game, and then win the game with their defense. So it's going to be, the immovable object against the rock, and we're going to see who comes out on top. So that should be a great game over at St. Tom. And a reminder about that, we're going to have full coverage of that game in Saturday's review, and we're also going to have video highlights at thereview.com. So make sure you check all that out. One of the other games we're going to have video of is West Branch and Streetsboro. West Branch looking for their first win of the season. They got some good news last week. They played better against New Philadelphia, had a big comeback in the second half that came up just a little bit short, but the Warriors will definitely want to get a win before they go into Week 4 against Alliance. Not only a big rivalry game, but the start of the NBC season.
Absolutely. West Branch has played a grueling independent schedule. All 3 of their opponents are 6-0, combined 6-0, and you're talking about a defending state champ in Kirtland and a returning playoff team with almost everybody back in New Philadelphia. So they've played some quality opponents. And Streetsboro is the same way. Streetsboro finished 6-4 last year, just missed the playoffs. A lot of people forget that. They have an all-Ohio running back coming back and a big-time linebacker. So that's another tough game for West Branch this week.
Yeah, and another team going from the frying pan into the fire is the Aviators of Alliance. They're 0-2. Again, played much better in Week 2 against Canfield, coming up just a touchdown short. But they've got to go on the road for the first time in a tough environment, and they're going to be facing Akron Ellet.
Right, and they haven't played Akron Ellet since 1989. They played Ellet back in the late 80s. Alliance won 2 of those 3 games in that series, so they're going to resume that. This is a chance for Alliance to get that first W, and I think they can build off what they did toward the end in the second half of the Canfield game last week when they scored the last 2 touchdowns, made it a game against Canfield. Hopefully they can take that momentum into Ellet. And Ellet's a team that's a good football team too. They're 0-2, but they beat Akron Springfield. They blew them out in game 1 and then had to forfeit that game because they played with an eligible player. They turned themselves in, so I admire them for that. But Ellet's a good football team, and that's an away game for Alliance, so they're going to have to bring their A game.
And a few other games coming up this week. Newberry at Sebring, Minerva at Tuslaw. The Lions are going to look to bounce back from that tough loss to St. Thomas. Niles at Salem. Ravenna at Louisville. That's an interesting game. Ravenna's a good football program as well. Louisville, we're going to see what they're made of. They got to bounce back from a tough loss and get back up motivationally after losing a big rivalry game in Hoover.
Right. Coach Lenardi's done a great job at Ravenna. They've been in the playoffs, I believe, 3 or 4 of the last 5 seasons. That's a quality program. Obviously, we know Louisville's a quality program. These are 2 really good Division II football teams, and that's a game that could go either way in my mind. Those are 2 good teams.
Now up in Portage County, Southington's at Waterloo. Southeast travels to Crestwood. And a couple other games to keep an eye on. Western Reserve at East Palestine, and United travels to Rootstown. So make sure you check out Friday's Alliance Review. We'll have all the standings and statistical leaders through the first 2 weeks of the season. And, of course, Saturday we'll have coverage of all the games as well. And review.com will have video highlights of the West Branch Streetsboro game and the big showdown between Marlington and St. Thomas. So we invite you to take a look at those. Hopefully we'll see you at a stadium this weekend.